believe this is the prudent and right thing to do in these economic times. But even within this plan, we have projects that are essential and timely, and we're doing them. And what we've said is, if anything else comes up that needs to be done, we'll do it. And if we have to come back to you for more funding, if that's what's necessary, we'll do it. But right now, we think this is appropriate and prudent. Now, once we come out of this economy, we are going to refocus on Century 2, and we are going to get back to our plan to reinvest in the aging infrastructure. This is really just about addressing these economic times, postponing the projects that can be postponed.
I want the customers, I hope that we're able to get the message out that they need to be thankful that it's been 19 years and what that has meant to them over those 19 years. And you can't sustain that forever. And only through good management have we been able to do that. And because people are going to gripe, we're going to hear gripes about any road increase, but it's essential.
Mark, I wanted a couple of questions. The spike in capital for 11 is 2 new substations mainly?
Yes, sir.
I know one's on 17th.
One is on Dale Avenue and 17th, that's correct. And then one is out in East Knoxville, and that one will be a new connection point with TVA, a new NP substation.
Okay, another thing I wanted to, I know kind of like water, that the usage per capita is kind of evening out. You know, I guess we sort of used to be able to count on more products, more electric usage per person, but that as appliances makes it more efficient. What about, refresh my memory on the growth of number of customers, kind of what she was asking. Did we plan for flat growth basically these next few years? Or how
for customer additions for the electric system, next year we are anticipating 300 net on a net basis. And then it will incrementally increase until I believe it reaches 2,000 net customer additions by 2015. It would just sort of stair step up by in increments of approximately 300 over that period of time. Whereas it used to be about 2,000 to 3,000 a year.
Yeah.
We think by 2015, hopefully with economic recovery, we'll be back to where we were approximately 5 years ago.
Flat.
That is correct.
Okay.
But we are not seeing, as we've talked about several times, obviously with water and then as a result of wastewater and also with gas, we have not seen the decline in usage on a per customer basis as we have seen on the other 3 systems. We have not seen that in electric as of yet. Now, we probably will at some point in time in the future, and that'll be a factor as well. But to date, we really have not observed that.
The federal government and the state both have rebates and incentives for currently, just came out this month to upgrade more efficient electric appliances. So
you would think it's
kind
coming.
of plan on it.
Yes, sir.
But the 2,000 or so, that's a net number per year that you would plan on by 2015.
That is correct.
Okay. It's not cumulative. You would count on that per year.
Yes, that's correct.
I think you mentioned that funding the capital, you're using 40% debt and 40% operating. Is that right? Or 60%?
Ideally, it would be 60% from system revenue, 40% from debt.
And is that, again, following Tom's, would that be something that would be typical for most utilities? If that debt seems a little low. And let me ask one other question before you answer that, if you don't mind. When we're scheduling debt, we're not scheduling debt on a particular substation. We're issuing debt for the whole system. That's correct?
We issue debt for the entire electric system for the upcoming, for example, we'll have a $30 million bond issue this coming year. It's not set to just cover a specific project. It would cover all capital projects that occur during that period of time for the electric system. Each system has their own debt, of course.
Okay, so as it relates to amortization, that it's really hard to peg that on a particular project that we have done. So you're just amortizing against the electric system out 30 years.
That is
whatever it might be.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you don't, on the debt, that seems a little bit low. I guess my thought is, if we have to fund 60% of the cost of construction substation on 17th now, that thing is gonna last for 30 years. Will it last that long? 20? I don't know. How long will it last?
A substation, the assets in the substation will have a relatively long life, yes, sir. The transformers.
Well, are we penalizing ratepayers now by paying 60% of it right now? I guess that would be my question.
Well, we try to look at it from the broad perspective of the whole electric division. And when we think about the funding of all the electric division assets, our internal targets based upon our current operations has been to not go too far above that 40% ratio. Historically, it's been in the high 20s and it's been inching up over the last several years. And one of the reasons for that is that we want to leave available debt capacity for the unknown. And part of it's not the unknown, part of it is the Century 2 program as well, that we don't want to be up to 50 or 60% debt ratio, which that scenario right there would get us, because we would have not much debt capacity available to fund a Century 2. Or if we had a federal mandate, say for example, on smart meters, that the federal government said, you know, by 2015 your whole system has to be smart meters, and the cost of that $60 million. Well, as opposed to getting all of that in a rate increase right away, you would get a fair amount of that through debt. So we want to keep debt capacity available for that as well. With respect to what other utilities do, it varies. You might see National Electric Service at 50% or greater on their debt ratio. I think we're somewhere probably in the median with respect to if you line us up against other large municipal utilities. But one of the reasons we stay there is that you don't know what the unknown might bring, and you want to reserve some debt capacity for it.
I also have to do with our bond rating too, right?
The bond rating could be impacted if, I think if we got up to 60% debt or such as that, we would have to take other measures, probably reserves we would need to maintain in order to keep that bond rating. But you'd also have to keep your debt service coverage level up as well, and you would need revenues to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on this chart? We'll move along. Commissioners, this chart shows by really customer class what the impact of the proposed margin changes would be on customer bills. We've talked about the residential, the $1.91. The current monthly bill for the average residential customer is $87. The $1.91, that's an increase of about 2.2% on the current monthly bill. For the small commercial, that we have about 20,000 of those customers, their average monthly bill is $171. The increase in the monthly bill is $4.20. And just like residential, that's customer charge only for that. So all of those 20,000 customers will see the $4.20. So we can say that if you add these two together, that's over 98% of our total electric system customers will see an increase of $4.20 or less on their monthly electric bills as a result of this. And you can see the other customer classes there as well, commissioners. Obviously, the higher load you go up, the less customers you have, and the bigger absolute impact from the rate action, because their average monthly bills are obviously much higher. And then finally, just to show you that including the proposed margin increase, that KUB's electric rates will continue to remain competitive. This chart shows a comparison of KUB both on the current rates and proposed